Howdy folks, Brother Jim reporting here at End Times Prophecy News from Gateway Pundit. Forgive me, I am feeling under the weather today. I'm a sickie. So, but I had to put this out even because it's just so important what is going on in White House in D.C. President Trump says he wants Representative Adam Schiff questioned at the highest level for fraud and treason. Has Trump lost his mind? Of course, that's a joke. President Donald Trump took to Twitter on Sunday night to announce that he wants Representative Adam Schiff questioned at the highest level for fraud and treason. Now, right away, I'm going to tell you what's a little bit of the breakdown here. Trump always tells you what's going to happen sooner or later. That's right. Remember the build the wall that they said it never was going to happen? It's happening. Remember the Obamacare? We're still waiting on that, huh? Remember the Russian collusion hoax with Robert Mueller? Same thing, huh? What Trump says is going to happen. You can take it to the bank. Adam Schiff recently lied in his opening remarks and claimed numerous falsehoods about President Trump's call with the Ukrainian president in spite of the transcript being provided to him the day before. We're going to be going over lots of news. I'm making, well, probably only one video this morning and one tonight. I hope to make a video tonight if I'm feeling good enough to speak. So Trump's tweeted after Adam Schiff put out all his lies, and I showed you that yesterday. Like every American, I deserve to meet my accuser, especially when this accuser, the so-called whistleblower, represented a perfect conversation with a foreign leader in a totally inaccurate and fraudulent way. Then Schiff made up what I actually said by lying to Congress. His lies were made in perhaps the most blatant and sinister manner ever seen in the Great Chamber. He wrote down and read terrible things, then said it was from the mouth of the President of the United States. I want Schiff questioned at the highest level for fraud and treason. In addition, I want to meet not only my accuser who presented second and third hand information, but also the person who illegally gave this information to her, which was largely incorrect to the whistleblower. Was this person spying on the U.S. president? Big consequences. And I showed you a picture last night. Her name is Sue Gordon. She looks, about 53% female and about 47% man. And she's an older lady. I wouldn't put it past her that she's also a sodomite, because all these sodomites hate Trump. I'm not saying she is, but wouldn't doubt it. But President Trump added that in addition, I want to meet... Okay, we already read that. So, as the Gateway Pundit reported earlier in the day, Adam Schiff is connected to the Ukrainian arms dealer. In 2013, Ukrainian Igor Pasternak held two different fundraisers for Schiff, asking for contributions between $1,000 and $2,500. Reported this yesterday. All the evidence is just coming out. But what Trump just said, fraud and treason, that day's coming. And that will be the look on his face. Mr. Bug-Eye, well, his eyes might just fall right out of his head, huh? Now, this is a really important story that just unveiled as of the last time I reported last night, okay? Biden campaign demands networks ban Rudy Giuliani. Why? Well, the Biden campaign sent a letter Sunday to broadcasting cable news executives and anchors demanding President Trump's personal attorney, former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani, be banned from appearing on news shows because of his accusations of corruption against former Vice President Joe Biden and his son Hunter Biden. Okay, and I showed this already. But what happens next? Well, Rudy Giuliani responds to Biden campaign. Think of the Biden arrogance and entitlement. They believe they own the media. Earlier today, the Biden campaign sent a letter Sunday to broadcast and cable news executives and anchors demanding President Trump's personal attorney, former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani, be banned from appearing on news shows because of his accusations of corruption against former Vice President Joe Biden and his son Hunter Biden. Now, I saw this, and I was talking to my good friend in Christ, Diana, and I said, it doesn't matter, it's going to come out another way, even if they did shut down Rudy Giuliani. Because God's going to bring this forward. I mean, that's what I said, and I thought, maybe that was the Holy Spirit speaking to me. The Biden letter was first reported by the Daily Beast, which said the letter came from Biden aides Anita Dunn and Kate Bedingfield. I reported this yesterday. Now, what happens next? Developing author. Now, oh, wait a minute. Before I finish this, I said the reason why is because they're going to, that Rudy Giuliani, the reason why they are, calling for Rudy Giuliani, Biden campaign, to shut them down is because the real corruption is where Biden accepted $1.5 billion from China. That's right. In a quid pro quo. I think that's how you say it. Okay, which is illegal, of course. So then I said, what's going to happen is Rudy Giuliani is going to report this $1.5 billion, and even if they shut his mouth, someone else is going to do it. That's what I said to Diana. I couldn't believe it. And then I read this morning, developing author Peter Schweitzer, a very famous author. We are releasing documents today related to Hunter Biden's $1.5 billion China scandal. We got the docs. Author Peter Schweitzer from the Government Accountability Institute joined Fox and Friends on Monday morning to discuss the Biden's family massive pay-for-play scandal. Schweitzer is the author of the book Secret Empires, detailing the vast corruption of the Washington, D.C. elites. Schweitzer is an expert on the Biden family billion-dollar pay-for-play scandals with Ukraine and China. Schweitzer told the Fox and Friends host he is releasing new documents today on Joe Biden's pay-for-play scandal with China. I think what Joe Biden needs to do is come clean with this stuff. The old days of just obscuring are not going to work here. This is why we need an investigation. Brian said George Stephanopoulos said Sunday that the whole China link has been debunked. What do you say? It's not true. In fact, we're releasing the documents today. What we're seeing in the media with George Stephanopoulos and also with the Washington Post is they're taking the Biden line, hook, line, and sinker. Now remember, George Stephanopoulos, I reported yesterday, had an interview with Rudy Giuliani. And he said, we have all the docs. Number one, Schweitzer says, we're releasing documents. Hunter Biden was on the board of directors of this Chinese company that had $1.5 billion. We're releasing documents related to that $500 million. I think that's a typo. I think that's supposed to be $1.5 billion. We're also releasing documents that explain what the American partners that would be Hunter Biden and his business partners, what their role was. And their role was the Chinese wanted to take advantage of their networks in the United States. Now, what networks are they talking about? All the fake news ones we see everywhere. These gentlemen are not titans on Wall Street. I think we know what they're talking about. And the Chinese were very explicit as to why they struck up this partnership. I think we know what they're talking about. Do you? I think most of the people who listen to me do. This small investment firm that very few people have heard of. Very interesting. The can of worms is coming out, huh? Kind of like the can of worms prophecy. Breaking update, Speaker Pelosi and Adam Schiff connected to prominent Ukrainian arms dealer. And I already reported this as well, that Pelosi is tied to it as well. Sweet justice. Corruption runs deep in the deep state. No wonder the Democrat House wants to get rid of President Trump now, because we're going to go to prison, as Hildebrand said before she lost the election. That's right, she said it in the back room. If you don't get rid of him, we're all doomed. We're all going to prison. I think that day is coming soon. They're afraid of their own deeds being uncovered. As reported this morning, Adam Schiff leads the House Intelligence Committee, and this past week he oversaw the Intel Committee where he attempted to align President Trump with some trumped-up allegations concerning his phone call with the president of the Ukraine. Schiff lied in his opening remarks and claimed numerous falsehoods about the president's call in spite of the transcript being provided the day before, and I read that to you, by the way. His entire description of the president's call was a lie. We have the transcript, and this was not in it. Trump rightly called for Schiff's removal from Intelligence Committee after this dishonest performance. Then he asked for an investigation of fraud and treason. We know why Schiff is lying. He's connected with the Ukrainian arms dealer. And we know why Pelosi is calling for a fake Trump impeachment. And she even said, even if we lose the 2020 elections of the House. Think about it. Would you care about the election of the 2020 House Democrats if you thought you might be going to prison first? See, that's why another reason why they're all gone ape. They've gone wild. What happens when the police, most of the time, try to arrest a bad person? They always claim, I didn't do it. They're always claiming innocent, right? Well, when you're in power, you don't just claim innocent. You blame the other. You blame those who oppress you, those who are trying to get you arrested. And that would be the Babylonian king, Cyrus, come back in the spirit as Donald Trump. So again, Congressman Adam Schiff had a fundraiser hosted by Ukraine's art dealer with heavy ties to George Soros. All right, we're going to move on. And Jack Posobiec reports Adam Schiff sent staffer to Ukraine 12 days after receiving whistleblower complaint, met with Obama-linked former president. It just gets worse and worse for Pencil Neck, doesn't it? Now, here's some news this morning. Pastor Jeffress, who supports Donald Trump very much, warning, I have never seen evangelicals more angry than they are today. If Democrats are successful, it will cause civil war like fracture in America. Now, I just want to say, why do you think evangelicals think it will cause civil war? Let's see. Could it be that a lot of these evangelicals 100% believe in the First Amendment of free speech, which is taken away from them? Number two, could it be that they believe in the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms against a tyranny or dictatorship, or should we say today, a coup d'etat? Yes. Number three, could it be these gun-toting Christians and conservatives have already talked about it, and they said, we're going to war if you try to impeach him? You know what? We already have news that a bunch, I forgot the name of the biker gang, a big old biker gang, one of America's largest, I think it's Harley-Davidson biker gang, is going to descend on D.C. if they try to impeach Trump. Well, let's see. You got the biker gangs, and then you got Christian conservatives by the millions. Things are not looking good. So Pastor Robert Jeffress could very well be correct. He warned this weekend that if Democrats are successful in removing President Trump through impeachment based on the latest bogus charges, it will cause a civil war like fracture in America. But I'm here to tell you right now, to break it down, it ain't going to happen, folks. No, he's going to be president in 2020. You can take that to the bank. You can mark my words and tell me how wrong I am in 2020 if he's not elected, okay? Dr. Jeffress went on with Fox and Friends this morning to respond to Nancy Pelosi's wicked prayers for impeachment. Jeffress believes Democrats don't care if they burn down and destroy the nation in the process. Very true. Wait a minute, you're breaking your 501c3 rules that if you talk about political things in your church, we're going to take away your tax exemption. Sorry, Trump already fired that last, I forgot her name, the head of the IRS, you know. Sorry, but things are a little bit changing with Cyrus on the podium. He says, this week I traveled the country and spoke to thousands of evangelicals and have never seen them more angry about any issue than this attempt to illegitimately remove this president from office. We move on. Adam Schiff confronted by citizen about lying to Congress at South Carolina airport. An unidentified concerned citizen found himself confronting House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff at a South Carolina airport Sunday evening over Schiff lying to Congress during a hearing this past week by making up quotes by President Trump. Schiff made up Trump's words at a hearing on September 26 with DNI Joseph McGuire about a whistleblower complaint about President Trump's July 25th phone call with Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky that has prompted an impeachment investigation by the House authorized by Speaker Nancy Pelosi. I should say Nasty Pelosi. The man who confronted Schiff was firm but polite. On the video, he did not scream, yell, swear, or threaten Schiff. He waited for Schiff to step out of the airport shop before approaching and walking with Schiff to speak with him for a brief while without impeding him. Schiff, in turn, was also polite but declined to comment, saying he was there for a wedding. The videotape confrontation lasts about 20 seconds, with Schiff walking away, saying, "Have a nice day." However, the man claims a Schiff aide called him what is now considered a gay-baiting slur off camera. So flying out of Greenville, Spartanburg tonight, who is at my gate? Adam Schiff, the biggest liar in D.C., can't even answer simple questions about his lies last week on camera. What a beta. Can't defend himself when confronted, and he called me a cocksucker off cam. Is he kind of like the Ed Buck, likes to kill black people? The biggest racists in this country are Democrats. I don't know how many times I gotta tell you that, folks. And so we have Ed Buck arrested out of Los Angeles for hating on black, gay, young men, injecting them with overdoses of methamphetamines. I forgot the drug. I don't know if it was fentanyl or whatever. But the point is they died, several of them. And finally he gets arrested. And we're finding more and more that hate black people and are killing them secretly. I keep trying to tell you, African American black people, you need to realize the Democrat Party is using you like a butt wipe and flushing you down the toilet, which is death when you're done. Schiff said, "I'm really not interested in talking with you." The man said, "Why don't you just tell the truth if you're on TV about Trump, huh? You gotta lie about it? You have a nice day," says the Mr. Blue Blood, which is dead blood. All right, let's move on. I'll let you read the rest of that. Democrat city clerk charged with felony voter tampering during 2018 midterm elections. You got to check this one out. Sharakia Hawkins, the city clerk in Detroit. And Trump's going to have a rally in Michigan here real soon, I believe. In Detroit, suburb of Southfield, Michigan, has been charged with 6 counts of felony voter tampering for altering absentee ballots during the 2018 midterm election. a minute. She makes $100,000 a year. She's committed felonies, and she only gets what? She doesn't get fired. She's just put on a leave while she gets paid. Same thing, huh? It's sick. It's the same old story, isn't it? And former government directors, attorneys, and agents living with deep state CIA whistleblower, he should be fired and brought up for treason. I don't know if this is the same CIA whistleblower, but it's not a man. Why are they saying he? Her name is Sue Gordon. At least I believe so. That was from a friend. So former U.S. government deputies, attorneys, and agents are very upset with the deep state whistleblower that attacked President Trump with bogus secondhand charges. Some are even calling for his arrest and immediate indictment for treason. And Trump already demanded that I meet my accuser. How much you want to bet the accuser is scared now? Dr. Steve Piesnik, former CIA Deputy Assistant Secretary of State under 5 different administrations, shared the following in an urgent message to President Trump, calling the current events nothing more than a disguised coup by the CIA. Dr. Piesnik also claims there is no such thing as a whistleblower in the CIA. That's right. All whistleblowers in the CIA and FBI, NSA, but mainly the CIA, are disposed of. They will ruin your life. There are many whistleblowers that try to do that. And there's one of them that actually made it, but he's been poisoned to death and did not, but of course they didn't make it. I forgot his name. A lot of you probably already know who I'm talking about. He's on YouTube. Gets hundreds of thousands of views. Then he said this: there is no such thing as a good Samaritan or whistleblower at the CIA. He should be fired and brought up for treason as well as any of the analysts. As we reported on Thursday, former United States Attorney for the District of Columbia, Joe DiGenova, and his wife, Victoria Tunsing, shared this. Joe Biden shook down the Ukrainian government. It's very simple, and they lied about Viktor Shokin being corrupt. This was a setup, and that's what we're now seeing is the Democrat Party trying to cover that up, and therefore you have the whistleblower in the White House come forward who actually knows nothing. Why do you think Donald Trump's demanding to see his accuser? Isn't that the law? And has created a document with the help of lawyers from other people. Pardon me. This whistleblower needs to go to prison. He doesn't need to be feted. I don't know what that means. He needs to go to prison. Must be a typo. But Victoria said, Sean, I want to jump in here too on these false statements. How did that work? U.S. and other people made false statements about him. Yeah, that was George Soros funded NGOs who were also in bed with the State Department. My last point here, the whistleblower sprinkles throughout his document footnotes referring to a publication with the initials OCCRP. One guess, Sean. Who funds OCCRP? George Soros. Soros's dirty money is all over this story. When are we going to arrest that man, that Hungarian criminal? He's disgusting, isn't he? Former CIA Department of State and ICIG officer Pedro Israel Orta, with extensive knowledge, experience on intelligence community whistleblowing standards, policies, and procedures, weighed in on the issue through a series of tweets claiming the incident used secondhand rumors on information under executive privilege. Very true. The second thing he says, if the recent case was of a whistleblower who disclosed secondhand knowledge, if failed to meet the ICIG's own criteria to process ICWPAs, and if also was about executive privilege information of the president, it was not about intelligence activities. Orta then claims in a series of tweets that the CIA and the ICIG, Intel Community's Inspector General, dropped the ball on a number of cases, but somehow let this one that is not legal to go through? Again, another ICIG failure in processing an ICWPA. So the real question, why is the ICIG still failing to properly address IC whistleblower issues, proving that IC is against President Trump? Well, he was not elected by him, He was not brought in by him. It was brought in by Obama, the Inspector General, who's supposed to be nonpartisan, right? The ICIG and CIA fail with the Beckwith case, which is essentially the same for the outstanding Kaplan, Reedy, Pars, and Meyer cases. Worse is now Chairman Schiff and other Democrats have politicized this issue but done nothing for Beckwith, Kaplan, Reedy, Pars, and Meyer. Then Orton notes that GAO is investigating the ICIG for the cases Orton notes in his tweets. Form and language from ICIG is legit, came directly from ICIG. There is something very odd about hearsay disclosure on the information not under the DNI and ICIG legal authorities and how it was all rolled out. It has indicators of conspiracy to damage Trump. 12. The real crisis here is twofold. One, the ICIG through error has caused an insignificant crisis. And two, the Democrats have erroneously politicized IC whistleblower issues for political expediency. And 13, the ICIG and CIA are under investigation by the GAO for taking reprisals on whistleblowers reporting internal illegalities and failing to enforce protections. See link in last ICIG SAR. 14. How long is this going to go? The investigations include leaders in ICIG and CIA-IG for taking reprisals on whistleblowers. They suppressed ICWPAs, research most recent IAA bills and reports for 2017 to 2020. They were rebuked by Congress, leading to the GAO investigation. Greg Jarrett nailed it, spot on, the truth. Greg Jarrett. Recently, Donald Trump referred to Greg Jarrett as one of the best journalists, and he goes on Fox News a lot. That's true. But moving down here, former CIA agent Sabrina D'Souza knows the deep state actions well. As reported in July, former President Obama and his CIA Director John Brennan ignored D'Souza's pleas for help and left her to rot in a Portuguese prison. Lucky for her, Donald Trump was elected president. After the election, her situation was alleviated by the Trump administration, for which she was grateful. I'm sure that Donald Trump even knew all this that was going on before he even got her out of prison. For the purpose of helping out, Praise the Lord, she's been released. D'Souza believes that before the 2016 election, Obama's CIA was significantly emboldened with Brennan taking over all national security issues, where he had enormous latitude to do whatever he wanted, knowing Obama and then Clinton would have his back. D'Souza, with Portuguese heritage, was eventually locked up in a Portuguese jail. In her efforts to exonerate herself from false charges in Italy, D'Souza claims that she was helped by the U.S. Representative Devin Nunes, who said she also has some Portuguese ancestry. Nunes tried 3 times to intercede on her behalf while she was in Portugal, but this was all denied by Obama. Obama gave the impression through his actions that he didn't care if U.S. intelligence employees were imprisoned for false crimes around the world or not. D'Souza says that the former CIA directors like Michael Hayden also refused to act on her behalf in the past. People like Brennan and Hayden were fine with having their employees rot in foreign jails rather than have their own crimes related to a case be brought out into the public spotlight. For the record, Michael Hayden smeared this website during an appearance on C-SPAN. We have demanded he retract his smears, which he has ignored. Back to the story of D'Souza shared that she believed she would get nowhere with a whistleblower complaint with the CIA. So when she felt that she had exhausted all internal procedures per regulation, she finally contacted the CIA Inspector General twice. She had told that her case was not part of their charter or mission. D'Souza said that she tried with Ombudsman, who was really sympathetic but was told to back off. So by law, she knew she could approach Congress, but walls came up again. Her attorney wrote several letters to members of the Senate Intel Committee, but no response. She finally hand-carried an appropriate classified with some evidence to Senator Feinstein's security office. Ooh, that was a bad one. Requesting that she investigate, but it was too ignored. D'Souza claims she basically tried the whistleblower system with the CIA, but it did not work either. She says the current CIA whistleblower complaint is not related to intelligence, but policy for which the president has wide latitude. The fact that the whistleblower brought up misuse of the classified server in the White House is noteworthy. She says it's like the whistleblower was directed by others to include this bit in because they know it would roll up the president and all of those supporters who for the past 2 years have sought an investigation into Hillary's homebrew server with the classified information on it. She says, I am one of those demanding a just system for handling classified information. After President Trump was in power, he supported her and prevented her from going to jail in Italy. The honest actors in the U.S. government are livid with the criminal actions of the Ukraine whistleblower. He should be fired and indicted for treason. And that will be all for today. Shocking news, I thought. Don't forget me at the end of the month. I have a PayPal at the front of my channel. Donate to End Times Prophecy News, or my P.O. Box is 16 Midway, Georgia 31320 for only 66 cents a day. Can you afford that? It amounts to $20 a month. Who can't afford 66 cents a day? Thank you for listening.